AudioBooksTube is glad to produce, publish, and offer. Read People: How to Analyze People on First Sight by Sage D. Esotreasure. Imagine walking into a room full of strangers, each with their own stories, fears, and desires. You glance around, unsure of who to trust or how to connect. Now, imagine having the ability to decode their unspoken thoughts and intentions with just a few keen observations. This skill isn't a fantasy, it's something you can develop and use to navigate the complexities of human behavior. Welcome to Read People: How to Analyze People on First Sight, where you'll learn how to turn these observations into actionable insights that can guide your interactions and decisions. In a world where understanding others is critical for personal and professional success, being able to read people quickly and accurately sets you apart. We often find ourselves in situations where understanding someone's true feelings or motivations can make a big difference. Whether it's during a business negotiation, while strengthening personal relationships, or simply as a way to better understand the people around you, the skill of people reading can be transformative. But what exactly does it mean to read people? It's much more than noticing facial expressions or interpreting body language. It's about observing a complex web of nonverbal cues, behaviors, and subtleties that reveal deeper truths about a person's emotional and mental state. When you learn to recognize these signals, you can gain a clearer understanding of what someone is really thinking or feeling, which helps you respond in a more effective and empathetic way. This book is your guide to unlocking the secrets behind these nonverbal cues. Through practical techniques and strategies, you'll learn how to decode the silent signals people send every day. From subtle shifts in posture to fleeting changes in eye contact, each detail can provide valuable information about a person's internal world. As you develop these skills, you'll not only become more perceptive but also enhance your interpersonal relationships and decision-making abilities. The process of learning to read people doesn't have to be complex or mysterious. This book will break down the journey step by step. We'll begin with the fundamentals of human behavior and body language, exploring the science behind why people act the way they do. As you move forward, you'll start to identify and interpret specific signals that reveal key traits, such as confidence, honesty, or anxiety. Each section of the book offers actionable insights and exercises to help you refine your observational skills. Real-life examples and case studies will illustrate how these techniques apply in various situations. Whether you're dealing with a difficult colleague, trying to build rapport with someone new, or aiming to improve your emotional intelligence, the tools presented here will empower you to navigate social situations with ease. The journey of reading people is not just about gaining expertise in human behavior, it's about improving the quality of your interactions and enhancing both your personal and professional life. By mastering these techniques, you'll be better equipped to form meaningful connections, make informed decisions, and gain a deeper understanding of the emotional dynamics that shape our world. Ready to unlock the secrets of human behavior? This book will be your guide, helping you see beyond surface-level interactions and uncover the hidden patterns of human emotions. Your journey into the fascinating world of people reading starts now. It's intriguing, isn't it, how much communication happens without a single word being spoken? With a sharp eye and a structured approach, you can learn to interpret the language of body movements, facial expressions, and other subtle changes that can reveal more than words ever could. Picture yourself effortlessly reading people's unspoken cues, gaining a deeper insight into their emotions and intentions, and using this knowledge to improve your interactions. Read People: How to Analyze People on First Sight will give you the tools to do just that. Through careful analysis of human behavior, this book will guide you on how to peel back the layers of a person's external presentation and get to the core of what they're truly thinking and feeling. This skill can dramatically improve how you approach various situations, both personal and professional. The basics of body language are essential to understanding nonverbal communication. Did you know that 55% of communication is delivered through body language? This makes it one of the most important aspects of reading people. Every time you interact with someone, you're not just hearing their words, but also absorbing their movements, gestures, and posture. These cues can reveal much more than what's being said. Let's start with posture. A person who stands or sits upright with an open posture is usually displaying confidence and openness. Conversely, someone with a slouched or closed posture might be signaling insecurity or disinterest. Leaning in often indicates engagement, while leaning back might suggest discomfort or a desire for distance. Pay attention to these shifts in posture during conversations. Gestures are another key component of body language. While gestures can vary greatly across different cultures, in general, expansive, fluid movements tend to indicate enthusiasm and engagement, while smaller, more restrained gestures can signal nervousness or defensiveness. Pay close attention to a person's hands. Are they relaxed or clenched? Clenched fists often reveal frustration or tension, while relaxed hands suggest comfort and ease. Physical contact can also tell you a lot about someone's comfort level. For instance, a pat on the back might suggest camaraderie or approval, while the absence of touch can indicate a desire for distance or discomfort. Of course, cultural norms and personal boundaries play a huge role in how we interpret physical contact, so always consider the context. Facial expressions are another rich source of information when it comes to understanding someone's emotions. A person's face is like a canvas, reflecting their true feelings even when they try to hide them. For instance, a genuine smile doesn't just involve the mouth, it also engages the muscles around the eyes, causing them to crinkle. This kind of detail is important because people can often mask their true emotions with words, but their facial expressions can give them away. Start with the most prominent features when reading facial expressions: the mouth and the eyebrows. These two areas reveal a lot about someone's emotional state. For instance, tightly pressed lips might suggest stress or frustration, while raised eyebrows can signal surprise or disbelief. Even fleeting expressions can provide clues about a person's inner world. By honing your ability to observe these kinds of subtle facial cues, you'll be better equipped to understand what someone is really feeling, even if their words say otherwise. Over time, you'll develop an intuitive sense for interpreting people's expressions and adjusting your interactions accordingly. As you continue through this book, you'll find that reading people is a skill that you can sharpen with practice. It's not about becoming a mind reader, but about becoming more attuned to the nonverbal signals that everyone sends out. Whether you're interacting with colleagues, friends, or strangers, the ability to read people on sight will give you an edge in your communication and decision-making. A person's face can speak volumes even when they remain silent. One of the most insightful aspects of reading people involves the art of deciphering their facial expressions. While a genuine smile touches the eyes and lights up the entire face, a forced smile tends to stay confined to the mouth. The furrow of someone's eyebrows can hint at concentration or confusion, while raised eyebrows might suggest surprise or disbelief. Additionally, the cheeks and forehead also provide important clues. Flushed cheeks could indicate embarrassment or excitement, and tension in the forehead, especially vertical furrows between the eyebrows, is often a signal of stress or worry. Take the nose, for instance. Its movements are subtle yet telling. A wrinkled nose can show disgust or disapproval, and flaring nostrils may signify anger or fear. Similarly, the chin and jaw provide essential details about a person's emotional state. A chin pushed forward can imply determination or defiance, while a clenched jaw often betrays suppressed anger or anxiety. Beyond facial expressions, the eyes, commonly referred to as the windows to the soul, reveal a deeper layer of insight into a person's thoughts and feelings. Eye movements offer clues that, when paired with facial expressions, provide a fuller picture of what someone might be experiencing internally. Averting eye contact could suggest discomfort or a lack of trust, while steady, prolonged eye contact might indicate interest or assertiveness. It's essential to note that cultural differences significantly impact how eye contact is perceived. What may be a sign of respect in one culture could be considered confrontational in another. Even the subtle movements of a person's pupils tell us something. Pupils dilate in response to emotional arousal, excitement, or attraction. If you notice someone's pupils expanding during a conversation, they could be particularly engaged or even attracted to you. Blink rate, too, offers insight. A faster blink rate can indicate stress, while fewer blinks suggest concentration or focus. However, environmental factors like lighting or dryness can also impact blink rate, so it's important to take the context into account when analyzing someone's eye behavior. Hands are another major player in nonverbal communication. They often convey more about a person's thoughts and emotions than words alone can. One of the most universally understood hand gestures is open palms. This gesture signifies honesty and openness, signaling that a person is willing to communicate in a transparent, trusting manner. Conversely, clenched fists or closed-off gestures may hint at defensiveness, anger, or frustration. Fidgeting is another common behavior that can indicate nervousness or anxiety, although some people fidget simply out of habit. Therefore, it's crucial to consider the broader context of someone's body language when interpreting fidgeting. Handshakes are also highly revealing. A firm handshake is commonly associated with confidence and sincerity, while a limp or weak handshake could suggest indifference or a lack of confidence. While handshakes are a common form of greeting, it's important to remember that cultural factors heavily influence how they're perceived. In some cultures, a strong handshake might be seen as overbearing or rude, while in others it's a sign of respect and strength. Posture is another subtle yet powerful indicator of a person's emotional state. The way someone holds themselves can give you valuable clues about how they're feeling at any given moment. A tall, upright posture with shoulders back and head held high often signifies confidence and self-assuredness. In contrast, slouching or hunched shoulders might indicate insecurity, discomfort, or even a desire to withdraw from a situation. The positioning of the legs also speaks volumes. A wide stance can imply dominance and readiness to take action, while legs positioned closely together may signal nervousness or defensiveness. When interpreting someone's posture, don't forget to take their arms into account. Crossed arms are generally perceived as a defensive or closed-off stance, while arms that rest comfortably at the sides or lap suggest a person is relaxed and open to interaction. Finally, a person's head position is also revealing. A tilted head often conveys curiosity or interest, while a stiff, upright neck might indicate tension or caution. Beyond individual moments, a person's consistent behavior patterns offer deep insight into their character. The way people treat those they perceive as lower than them in social or professional status speaks volumes about their personality. Someone who frequently belittles others is likely grappling with their own insecurities and may feel the need to assert their superiority. On the other hand, a person who treats everyone with respect and kindness, regardless of status, likely possesses a strong sense of empathy and emotional maturity. Consider how individuals react under stress. Some people shut down emotionally, others lash out, and some become overly active in an attempt to distract themselves. These stress responses reveal how people cope with adversity and can give you a window into their emotional intelligence. Consistency is another crucial behavioral trait to observe. Do their actions align with their words? If someone often says one thing but does another, it may point to dishonesty or internal confusion. Another important factor to analyze is a person's sense of responsibility. Do they own up to their mistakes, or are they quick to shift blame onto others? This behavior can be a strong indicator of their self-awareness and maturity. Similarly, how a person handles power and control can provide insight into their leadership style. Are they cooperative and willing to work with others, or do they tend to dominate situations? These dynamics reveal how they view themselves in relation to others and how they prefer to operate in groups. Microexpressions are one of the most powerful tools in the arsenal of people reading. These fleeting, involuntary facial expressions last only a fraction of a second and often occur when someone experiences intense emotions. Although microexpressions are difficult to catch because they happen so quickly, they are incredibly truthful. People may be able to control their words and gestures, but microexpressions reveal their underlying feelings before they can mask them. Learning to recognize microexpressions will take practice, but it's one of the most effective ways to get an accurate sense of someone's true emotions. While many people can hide behind polite words or controlled body language, microexpressions expose genuine emotions such as anger, disgust, sadness, or joy in an instant. The ability to interpret these quick signals adds another layer of depth to your understanding of human behavior. By paying attention to microexpressions alongside more obvious cues like posture, eye movements, and hand gestures, you can become highly adept at reading people. Careful observation of microexpressions can offer profound insights into someone's true emotions, even when they're trying to keep those feelings hidden. What makes these fleeting facial expressions so fascinating is that they are often outside a person's conscious control, making them a more honest reflection of their emotional state than words alone. If you can recognize and interpret these subtle cues accurately, you'll gain a significant advantage in understanding the person you're interacting with. There are 7 universal microexpressions: happiness, sadness, fear, surprise, anger, disgust, and contempt. These expressions are common across all human cultures, which means that no matter someone's background, their facial muscles will reveal the same feelings in the same way. However, it's important to remember that while the facial expression may be universal, the reasons behind it are unique to the individual and their circumstances. This is why interpreting microexpressions requires you to consider the context of the situation, as well as the personal traits of the individual. Yet, microexpression analysis is not a perfect science. Misinterpretation can happen, and overanalyzing these fleeting signs may lead to incorrect conclusions. These expressions are only one piece of the broader puzzle that is human behavior. When combined with other observational tools like body language and verbal cues, they can provide a deeper understanding of someone's emotional landscape. However, mastering this skill takes patience, practice, and a sharp eye. While mastering microexpressions can reveal hidden emotions, paying attention to verbal cues is just as important in the art of reading people. The way people use words, tone, and speech pace can offer substantial insights into their thoughts and feelings. First, consider the choice of words people use. Their vocabulary can reveal much about their background, knowledge, and even their values. For example, if someone constantly emphasizes honesty, it's likely an important value for them. The tone of voice can be even more telling than the words themselves. Anxiety, excitement, anger, or joy can be easily conveyed through subtle changes in pitch. A higher pitch may indicate tension or excitement, while a monotone voice could suggest boredom or emotional detachment. The pace of speech is also revealing. People who speak quickly may be nervous or excited, while those who speak slowly are often more thoughtful or cautious with their words. Pauses in conversation can also be significant. A long pause might suggest someone is reflecting or feeling uncomfortable, while frequent, short pauses could indicate uncertainty or deception. Speaking of deception, navigating the complex world of dishonesty is a challenging but essential skill. Understanding the subtle indicators of deception can help you become more adept at recognizing when someone isn't being truthful. Deception often causes stress, leading to physical manifestations that may betray the liar. Micro-expressions can flash across the face in a moment of fear, anger, or disgust, emotions that might not align with the words being spoken. Body language is also a powerful tool in detecting deception. There's a common belief that people who are lying avoid eye contact, but this is not always the case. In fact, liars often overcompensate by maintaining excessive eye contact or frequently changing their posture. Fidgeting, touching the face or nose, or covering the mouth are potential signs of dishonesty. The way someone speaks can also be a clue. Stumbling over words, taking longer pauses, or repeating phrases may signal that they are crafting a lie. Additionally, liars may either provide too much detail in an attempt to appear more credible or be intentionally vague to avoid specifics. Understanding body language becomes even more nuanced when you take cultural differences into account. The meaning behind certain gestures and postures can vary significantly depending on where someone is from. For example, in North America, people tend to maintain personal space during conversations as a sign of respect, while in many Middle Eastern and Latin cultures, close proximity indicates trust and friendship. In these regions, what might be seen as intrusive in one culture is perfectly normal in another. Eye contact is another area where cultural norms differ widely. In Western cultures, direct eye contact is often seen as a sign of honesty and confidence. However, in some Asian cultures, maintaining eye contact for too long can be interpreted as disrespectful or confrontational. Similarly, gestures that might seem harmless or positive in one culture could be offensive in another. The thumbs-up gesture, for example, which signifies approval in the West, is considered an obscene gesture in some Middle Eastern countries. Likewise, the OK gesture, forming a circle with the thumb and index finger, can mean zero in France but is offensive in Brazil. To truly understand body language, you must approach it with a culturally sensitive mindset. It's not enough to simply recognize a gesture or posture. You need to understand the cultural context in which it occurs. This awareness will improve your ability to read people across different cultural backgrounds and enhance your interactions in diverse social settings. Gender also plays a role in communication styles. Men and women often communicate in different ways. and recognizing these differences can improve your ability to interpret someone's behavior. Generally, men tend to use a more direct, task-oriented style of communication. They often speak to achieve a specific goal, making their messages concise and straightforward. Men typically focus on facts, details, and solutions, and they may prefer to discuss activities or interests rather than emotions or personal experiences. On the other hand, women tend to use communication to build relationships and establish emotional connections. They often focus on feelings, emotions, and personal experiences, using conversation as a tool for connection rather than simply conveying information. Women also tend to use more nonverbal cues, such as facial expressions and body language, to communicate their feelings. This emphasis on emotional context makes their communication style more relational. It's important to remember, though, that these are general tendencies, not rigid rules. Individuals are unique, and their communication styles can vary greatly depending on their personality and circumstances. While gender can influence how people communicate, it's only one factor among many that shape how a person expresses themselves. In conclusion, reading people is a multifaceted skill that involves more than just recognizing microexpressions, body language, or verbal cues. It requires a holistic understanding of human behavior, taking into account cultural, gender, and situational contexts. With practice, patience, and careful observation, you can sharpen your ability to read people, offering you a deeper insight into their emotions, thoughts, and intentions. Our upbringing and cultural background shape how we communicate, but gender can offer some useful insights. Still, it shouldn't be the sole factor when analyzing communication. There are other elements, such as personality, context, and individual differences, that play a crucial role. In fact, it's only by observing someone in a variety of situations that you can develop a well-rounded understanding of their communication style. Emotional intelligence, EI, is vital for reading people. It's more than just observing, it's about feeling and understanding the emotions of others. Your EI is like a silent tool that helps you recognize hidden emotions, thoughts, and subtle body language cues. It enables you to interpret a person's reactions and empathize with their situation. This goes beyond seeing with your eyes, you're seeing with your heart and mind, as well. To sharpen your emotional intelligence, pay close attention to emotional reactions. A slight change in a person's expression or tone can convey so much more than words ever could. For example, a furrowed brow could signal concentration or frustration, while a quick smile might hide discomfort or nervousness. Recognizing these subtle differences helps you gain a deeper understanding of their emotional state. In addition to observation, empathy is key. It's not about making assumptions, but genuinely placing yourself in someone else's shoes. By doing so, you can better understand their feelings and experiences. Emotional intelligence also requires awareness of your own emotions. If you're not careful, your personal biases can cloud your judgment. Always aim to remain objective, which will allow you to interpret others more accurately. Improving your emotional intelligence takes practice and patience. With time, you'll get better at identifying people's emotions and relating to them on a deeper level, allowing you to read between the lines and connect more effectively. Vocal tone and pitch provide another essential layer of understanding. They often convey far more than the words themselves. Someone's tone, for instance, can reveal their emotional state in an instant. A warm and inviting tone suggests comfort or happiness, while a cold and distant tone may signal disinterest or tension. If you listen closely, you'll pick up on these nuances, which can significantly impact how you interpret their words. Pitch also plays a vital role. A higher pitch often indicates excitement, anxiety, or stress, while a lower pitch suggests calmness, seriousness, or even authority. Of course, pitch varies depending on factors like gender, age, and cultural background, so context is key. When assessing tone and pitch, it's important not to jump to conclusions. They're only part of the bigger picture. Look for consistency between what the person is saying and how they're saying it. A mismatch between tone, pitch, and words can signal underlying emotions or even deception. Proxemics, or the study of personal space, is another important aspect to consider. The distance someone maintains from others speaks volumes about their comfort level and the dynamics of the relationship. If someone stands too far away, they might be feeling uneasy or disinterested. On the other hand, if they invade your personal space, it could indicate confidence, dominance, or even a lack of awareness about social norms. In addition to physical distance, body orientation tells a story. If someone angles their body away from you, they may be uncomfortable or ready to exit the conversation. Conversely, facing you directly shows engagement and interest. People also claim space through territorial behaviors, such as spreading out personal items. This can indicate a need for control, dominance, or simply comfort. Personal space isn't just physical, it's psychological. Some individuals guard their space carefully, which might signal trust issues or feeling threatened. Being aware of these cues can give you insight into how someone is feeling beyond what they express verbally. Clothing choices can reveal much about a person's personality, status, or mood. What someone wears is often a reflection of how they wish to present themselves to the world. Bright, bold colors might suggest an outgoing and confident personality, while more subdued tones could indicate someone who is more reserved or prefers to stay in the background. Style also tells a story. Trendy, fashionable clothes might show a desire for social acceptance or a love for creativity, while classic, timeless pieces suggest someone who values tradition, longevity, and quality over following trends. Fit matters, too. Tailored clothing can indicate a high level of attention to detail, professionalism, or self-confidence, while loose-fitting attire might suggest comfort, relaxation, or even a desire to hide one's physique. The condition of someone's clothing also provides important clues. Well-maintained, pristine attire can signal meticulousness and a respect for appearances, while worn-out or dirty clothes may reflect negligence or disregard for societal norms. Paying attention to these subtle cues will give you a better understanding of someone's mindset or status without them having to say a word. Identifying dominant and submissive behaviors is another critical part of reading people. Every interaction involves a subtle power dynamic, even if it's not immediately obvious. Recognizing these behaviors can dramatically enhance your understanding of a person's underlying intentions or attitudes. Dominance typically reveals itself in body language. Dominant individuals tend to take up more space, maintaining an open posture with their heads held high and shoulders back. They're not afraid to make eye contact, and their movements are purposeful. By contrast, submissive behavior is usually marked by smaller, closed-off postures. Someone may slouch or hunch their shoulders, avoid direct eye contact, or fold their arms across their body. It's also worth noting that these behaviors can change depending on the context. A person who displays dominance in one situation might exhibit submissiveness in another, depending on the social dynamics at play. Being able to identify when someone is shifting between dominant and submissive behaviors can provide valuable insights into their emotional state and the power dynamics of the interaction. Lastly, vocal tone and body language often work in tandem. Dominant individuals may speak in a lower pitch and use a more commanding tone, while submissive individuals might speak more softly and in a higher pitch. By carefully observing these cues, you can more accurately gauge who holds the power in any given interaction. In summary, reading people involves much more than just listening to their words. It's about interpreting the myriad of nonverbal signals they're constantly emitting, whether through micro-expressions, tone, pitch, personal space, or body language. With practice and patience, you can become adept at deciphering these clues, allowing you to understand others on a deeper level. Confidence radiates through the subtle signals people unknowingly project. For instance, body posture plays a key role in this. A confident person usually stands tall with their shoulders back and their chest out. They seem comfortable taking up space, whether standing or sitting. If they're sitting, they might lean back casually, conveying ease with their surroundings. This isn't arrogance, but an unspoken statement of self-assuredness, one that comes naturally to those secure in their sense of self. Observing posture can tell you a lot about someone's inner world. Next, take note of their eye contact. A confident person isn't afraid to meet others' eyes when speaking, indicating honesty, openness, and trustworthiness. But be careful not to confuse constant, unblinking eye contact with confidence. This can come across as aggressive or domineering. Instead, true confidence is reflected in a healthy balance, maintaining eye contact but being comfortable breaking it when necessary. Their voice offers another clue. Confident individuals tend to speak clearly and steadily, without signs of hesitation. Their words are well articulated, delivered at a moderate pace, not rushed, but not drawn out either. They speak with conviction, their tone suggesting they believe in what they're saying. Even if they're not loud, their words carry weight and authority. Hand gestures also play a role. Confident people often use their hands to emphasize key points, but their movements are controlled and deliberate, not erratic or nervous. They're also comfortable touching their face or body during conversation, a sign they're at ease with themselves and their environment. These small behaviors, when observed together, paint a picture of someone who knows their worth and isn't afraid to show it. On the opposite end, submissive behavior reveals itself through a different set of cues. A person displaying submissive tendencies will often make themselves smaller, physically shrinking their presence. They might adopt a closed posture, with their shoulders hunched and their head down. Their voice might be softer, their speech hesitant, as if they're unsure whether their words carry weight in the conversation. Avoiding prolonged eye contact and uncertain, fidgety movements are additional signs of submission or discomfort in the situation. It's important to remember that these behaviors aren't rigid. They can fluctuate depending on the context or who the person is interacting with. A typically confident person might exhibit submissive behaviors in a situation where they feel out of their element, while someone who tends to be more submissive might display confidence in familiar surroundings. Additionally, dominance or submission doesn't equate to superiority or inferiority. It's simply a behavioral dynamic, one that you can now begin to identify and interpret more clearly. In another realm of human interaction, recognizing nervous habits provides a deeper understanding of someone's emotional state. These are often unconscious, repetitive actions that reveal discomfort, anxiety, or tension. For instance, notice how someone fidgets with their hands, tapping fingers, twirling hair, or adjusting clothing could be indicators of restlessness or unease. Similarly, a clenched jaw or tightened fists may suggest suppressed anger or stress. Facial expressions can offer more clues. Rapid blinking or averted eyes can signal nervousness or even deception, while excessive touching of the face, scratching, rubbing, or biting lips can indicate anxiety. Body posture plays a part too. Someone who slouches or crosses their arms might be signaling insecurity or defensiveness. Conversely, a stiff, rigid posture could indicate an attempt to control or mask their nervousness. Speech patterns also reveal nervousness. If someone's speech is rapid, disjointed, or filled with stammers, they're likely feeling anxious. Long pauses may indicate they're carefully thinking through their response or trying to maintain control over their emotions. However, these signs should not be taken as definitive proof of nervousness. Instead, They are clues that, when combined with other factors, help you piece together a more accurate understanding of a person's emotional state. Recognizing these subtle patterns requires practice. It's not about focusing on isolated gestures, but paying attention to the overall behavior of the person and comparing it to their usual demeanor. Only then can you gain a clearer picture of what's truly going on beneath the surface. An interesting phenomenon in human interactions is the concept of mirroring. This is the act of subtly mimicking another person's body language, tone, or gestures to build rapport and foster a sense of connection. When done effectively, it creates a sense of shared understanding, making the other person feel heard and validated. But mirroring isn't just about copying movements or words. It's about reflecting the overall tone of the conversation and aligning with the other person's emotional state. For example, if the person you're speaking to is leaning in and engaging in animated conversation, you might reflect that energy by leaning in as well and matching their enthusiasm. If they're speaking quietly and thoughtfully, you might respond with a calmer tone. The key to effective mirroring is subtlety. Overdoing it can make you seem insincere or manipulative, which can create mistrust. Striking the right balance ensures you build rapport without coming across as artificial. Building rapport is also about finding common ground and showing genuine interest in the other person. By combining this with mirroring, you can create a powerful tool for improving communication and understanding others on a deeper level. Another important concept in understanding people is the cluster of nonverbal signals. These are groups of gestures, facial expressions, and movements that, when combined, provide more accurate insights into someone's emotional state than any single signal could on its own. For instance, imagine someone leaning back in their chair, crossing their arms, and avoiding eye contact during a conversation. While each of these behaviors could mean different things individually, taken together they likely suggest disinterest or defensiveness. This highlights the importance of interpreting nonverbal signals in clusters. Just as words combine to form sentences, gestures combine to convey a clearer message. It's not about zeroing in on one action, but recognizing patterns and understanding them in the context of the person's usual behavior and the situation. In conclusion, whether you're observing signs of confidence, nervousness, or rapport-building techniques, reading people is an art that requires careful attention to both verbal and nonverbal cues. By refining your ability to interpret these signals, you can enhance your understanding of others and foster deeper connections in your interactions. Recognizing discomfort in others can be a subtle art, yet once you learn to read the signs, it becomes second nature. Body language speaks volumes. Fidgeting, even in its most minor forms, like shifting weight or tapping a foot, is often a giveaway of unease. These small, seemingly insignificant gestures can be a person's unconscious response to discomfort. It's not always the overt signs that give it away, it's the fleeting ones. Notice if someone is playing with a pen, their clothes, or a piece of jewelry. These actions signal nervous energy and often reveal that the person isn't comfortable in the moment. Facial expressions also provide an abundance of information. You might see a clenched jaw, a furrowed brow, or fleeting grimaces that appear and disappear in a second. These micro-expressions offer a glimpse into the real feelings beneath the surface, even if the person is trying to conceal them. Their voice can be another indicator. If it quivers, becomes higher in pitch, or speeds up unnaturally, it's likely they are uncomfortable. Frequent throat clearing or swallowing can also indicate nervousness or anxiety. Personal space is a further clue. When someone feels uneasy, they may unconsciously try to create physical distance. Are they leaning away from you or crossing their arms or legs? These barriers act as protective measures, indicating that they're not at ease. Similarly, if their responses in conversation are short, non-committal, or if they're frequently looking away, it's a sign of discomfort. Understanding these subtle signals helps in navigating sensitive interactions, allowing you to adjust your approach or create a more comfortable environment. On the flip side, recognizing whether someone is interested or disinterested is equally important. It's not just their words, but how they present them that conveys interest. A person who is engaged will likely lean in, maintain eye contact, and adopt open body language. Their responses will be enthusiastic, and they may ask follow-up questions or offer compliments. Their tone will likely rise slightly, and they'll speak at a quicker pace, a sign of excitement or eagerness. If someone is disinterested, their body language will often reflect this. They might lean back, avoid eye contact, or cross their arms in a defensive posture. Short, curt responses or silence are also indicators. Their tone may drop, and their pace will slow, reflecting a lack of enthusiasm. However, context is crucial. Someone might be maintaining eye contact not out of interest, but because they're asserting dominance. Similarly, they could cross their arms because they're cold, not disinterested. It's essential to look at the full picture. Clusters of cues give a clearer understanding than any single gesture. When it comes to body language in group settings, the dynamics shift. You're not just analyzing an individual, but the interplay between group members. The way people position themselves in relation to one another can tell you a lot about the hierarchy and comfort levels within the group. Watch who directs their body towards whom. Even if someone is speaking to the entire group, they might angle their body towards a specific person, revealing who they're most comfortable with or who they perceive as the group leader. Are the group members sitting or standing closely together, or are they spaced apart? A tightly knit group suggests camaraderie and mutual trust, while a more spread out formation can indicate underlying tensions or a lack of cohesion. Another key thing to observe is symmetry. If group members are mirroring each other's gestures and postures, it's a strong indicator of harmony and rapport. Conversely, if one person's body language stands out as different from the rest, it could signal disagreement or discomfort, even if they're not expressing it verbally. Another fascinating aspect of group dynamics is observing reactions when someone speaks or makes a decision. Does the group follow their lead, or does their attention wander? This can reveal who holds influence in the group and who might be on the fringes, either by choice or circumstance. Adapting your communication style depending on who you're speaking with is an invaluable skill. It's not enough to be clear in your message. You must tailor how you deliver that message based on the other person's communication preferences. There are broadly 4 communication styles: assertive, passive, aggressive, and passive-aggressive. To be most effective, adopting an assertive style is typically the best choice, where you express your thoughts and needs clearly while respecting the other person's position. A passive communicator, on the other hand, may struggle to express their needs, which can lead to misunderstandings. They avoid confrontation but at the cost of not having their needs met. Aggressive communicators, though direct, often lack empathy, which can lead to conflicts or strained relationships. Passive-aggressive communicators are indirect, expressing their frustrations in ways that can confuse or frustrate the other party, often creating tension without directly addressing the issue. Understanding these styles helps you predict responses and adjust your communication accordingly. For instance, with an aggressive communicator, you might need to stand firm and set boundaries. With a passive communicator, it's often necessary to encourage them to voice their thoughts, as they might be hesitant to do so. This isn't about labeling people but rather understanding their perspective and finding ways to communicate effectively with them. Mastering communication is about more than just recognizing different styles. It's about learning to be flexible in your own approach. Sometimes, being too rigid in your communication style can lead to misunderstandings or missed connections. If someone is more detail-oriented, you might need to adjust and provide more thorough explanations. If someone prefers directness, brevity might be key to maintaining clear communication. Adapting to meet people where they are creates smoother interactions and better mutual understanding. One key to effective communication is not just in observing what people say but in understanding what they don't say. Nonverbal cues, such as tone of voice, choice of words, or even silence, can be just as telling as verbal communication. Each of these elements holds clues about their preferred communication style. But observation alone isn't enough. You must analyze these signals and adapt your own communication style accordingly. In conclusion, communication is a complex process that involves much more than simply exchanging words. By being attuned to body language, tone, and context, you can better navigate interpersonal relationships. Whether observing discomfort, gauging interest, analyzing group dynamics, or adapting to different communication styles, these skills can dramatically improve the quality of your interactions, helping you to connect with others on a deeper level. When you engage with others, it's essential to recognize that not everyone communicates the same way. You may have a direct communication style, preferring clear and straightforward exchanges. However, not everyone operates this way. Some people are more indirect or subtle in their approach, and if you insist on bulldozing ahead with your style, you risk overwhelming them and causing a breakdown in communication. Rather than persisting with a single method, you need to adapt to the style of the person in front of you. This isn't the end of the road, it's merely a shift in how you approach the conversation. Imagine yourself as a chameleon, capable of changing colors to fit your environment. Start by paying close attention to the other person's communication preferences. Are they direct or indirect? Do they express emotions openly, or are they more reserved? Once you've identified their style, adjust your own approach to match or complement theirs. This doesn't mean changing your message, but rather shifting how you deliver it, ensuring that the other person feels understood and comfortable. Building on this idea, the next step is refining your observation skills. Strong observation skills allow you to read people more effectively, enhancing your communication and social interactions. But becoming a better observer doesn't happen overnight. You need to practice, starting with active observation techniques that allow you to engage more deeply with the world around you. Active observation is more than just passive watching. It involves using all your senses to gather information. Start by focusing on body language. How does the person move? What's their posture? Do their facial expressions match their words? Inconsistencies between what someone says and how they physically present themselves often reveal hidden emotions or intentions. Next, pay attention to the person's voice. Tone, pace, volume, and inflection all carry important clues about someone's mood or mental state. Someone speaking quickly may be excited, anxious, or nervous, while a slow, soft tone could suggest hesitation or reflection. Noticing these details gives you a better understanding of the person's true emotional state. Don't underestimate the importance of silence either. Moments of quiet, pauses, or even a lack of eye contact can be just as revealing as spoken words. Sometimes, it's in these gaps that the most critical information is conveyed. For example, a pause before answering a question may indicate that the person is thinking carefully or perhaps withholding information. Observation is like any skill. The more you practice, the better you get. The goal is to train your mind to see beyond the surface, tuning into subtle cues that others might miss. Over time, your ability to read people will become second nature, and you'll find it easier to navigate social situations with confidence. Just as a musician fine-tunes their instrument, refining your observation skills requires consistent effort and attention to detail. The art of perception isn't just about seeing what's right in front of you, it's about processing and interpreting that information in a meaningful way. It's like being a scanner, capturing data from the world around you, and turning it into insights that inform your behavior. Improving your perception means noticing subtleties like changes in body language, tone of voice, or facial expressions. These nonverbal signals often speak louder than words, revealing someone's true feelings or state of mind. As you practice, start with simple observations. Pay attention to how a person moves through a room or interacts with their surroundings. Over time, you'll begin to spot patterns and behaviors that previously went unnoticed. But remember, perception is a two-way street. It's not just about observing others, it's also about understanding how others perceive you. This awareness can help you adjust your own behavior, ensuring that your message is received as intended. Are you coming across as too aggressive? Too passive? Understanding the impact of your communication style on others can help you refine your approach for more effective interactions. Ultimately, being a keen observer is about tapping into the subtleties of human behavior. It's about learning to read the unspoken language of body movement, facial expressions, and verbal hints. As you navigate social dynamics, these observation skills will act as your compass, guiding you toward a deeper understanding of those around you. This isn't about manipulation, far from it. It's about connection. The better you are at reading people, the more empathetic and understanding you'll become, which is at the heart of all meaningful interactions. Observation is not just a passive act, it's an active tool that helps you make sense of the world. By tuning into the silent symphony of body language and emotional cues, you're able to engage with others on a level that transcends mere words. It's the pauses, the glances, the tone shifts that carry the essence of communication. And as you become more adept at reading these signals, you'll find that your social interactions become smoother, more intuitive, and more rewarding. Don't be discouraged if it feels like a lot to take in at first. Like any skill, becoming a master observer takes time and patience. But with consistent practice, you'll start to notice improvements. You'll find yourself picking up on cues you might have missed before, subtle changes in someone's demeanor or the way they engage with others. These small observations can make a big difference in how you respond and adapt to different situations. The key is to keep practicing. The more you engage with these techniques, the sharper your skills will become. In time, you'll find yourself reading people with ease, almost as if you're holding an open book. And as you continue to develop your observation and perception abilities, you'll build stronger, more meaningful connections with the people around you. In conclusion, becoming a more effective communicator and observer is a lifelong skill that requires adaptation, active engagement, and constant refinement. Whether it's tailoring your communication style to suit others or honing your ability to read nonverbal cues, these tools will enhance your interpersonal relationships. Remember, it's not just about what's being said, it's about tuning into the full spectrum of human expression, from body language to silence, and everything in between. Copyright 2024 by AudioBooksTube. Thank you for listening. Please consider to subscribe, like, and share to help the channel growth. New videos on a daily basis.